exciting photographs,
The ability to suspend time,
creative imagery.
capturing the moments of a world that doesn't slow down.
That's Maxxum photography, the pictures you want to take with your Maxxum. Hi, and welcome to a special edition of the Minolta Video Magazine, a special program devoted to you and your new Maxxum system. I'm Jim Caldwell.
Hi, and I'm Joanne Ritchie. Throughout this program, Jim and I will be working with you to introduce you to your Maxxum camera and the reasons why Maxxum is the easiest way ever for you to take great 35mm pictures.
As you probably know, there are three Maxxum cameras: the standard Maxxum 5000, the advanced Maxxum 7000, and the professional Maxxum 9000. All three models incorporate the breakthroughs that have changed forever how we see our world: Minolta autofocus and auto exposure.
We're going to cover the models that you own: the standard Maxxum 5000, which is the one I'll be using,
And the advanced Maxxum, which I'll be showing. Now, you should have whichever Maxxum you own with you now: your Maxxum camera, your first Maxxum autofocus lens, and a Maxxum autofocus flash, if you already own one. Now, to follow along with us, you will need 4 AAA-sized batteries and a fresh roll of 35mm film.
and of course this is a videotape program, so you can review a segment as often as you like.
Now, our program is divided into 3 parts, and in only a few minutes, by the end of the first part, you will be using your Maxxum with and without the flash.
And in the second part, we'll be discussing the additional controls available on your Maxxum and the interesting pictures you can take using them.
And in the third part, we'll be talking about the rest of the Maxxum system, the lenses, and other accessories to help you make the pictures you want to make. So, let's get started. Joanne?
I'm ready.
Come on, let's head over to the demonstration area where we're going to be working some Maxxum magic, as we call it.
All right.
Now, obviously, the first thing you want to do when you get home is take the camera out of your box, right? Makes a lot of sense, right? Now, inside here, we want to call your attention to some very important papers that you want to be aware of. Number 1, there's the instruction book. Now, when you're done looking at the program that you're looking at right now, you can look through this book, and you can keep it in your camera bag for ready reference.
And this is your warranty card. Now, please fill it out as soon as possible and mail it in, because it does several important things for you. It registers your warranty in case the camera needs service. You know that Minolta has a 2-year warranty on the camera body and 5 years on its Minolta AF lens? Now, that's a bit of good news for you. And the body warranty can be extended with Minolta's optional extended warranty package. Just talk to your dealer about this. Your registration also signs you up for a 2-year subscription to Minolta's contact sheet. Now, this is a wonderfully informative newsletter. It comes out twice a year, and it's packed full of photo tips, new product information, and profiles of famous Minolta photographers.
All right, with everything out of the box, we're ready for the basic camera setup: batteries, lens, and neck strap to get your camera set for picture taking.
Now, the 4 batteries fit under this cover. Just unscrew it, like so. It's very easy. And you pop in the batteries, just the way they're shown on the cover. Just like that, okay? And then you screw it back in. It's very, very simple. Now, the display panel on the 7000 should look like this, and the panel on the 5000 will be blank now. Now, here on the top is the on-off switch. The lock position makes sure the camera is off to prevent accidental exposures. We don't want to have many of those. You see that there are 2 on positions. The first turns the camera on. And the second also activates the camera's audio warnings for focus confirmation in low light.
You know, it takes just a moment to attach the neck strap on your camera. By the way, leave this eyepiece cover on the strap so it's handy. You'll want it later. And then insert the strap into these lugs that you see on either side of the camera, and then you can just adjust it to the length that feels comfortable to you.
Maxxum lenses are what make Maxxum cameras unique. Your Maxxum is as easy to use as simple autofocus cameras with fixed lenses, but you now have the flexibility of many interchangeable lenses. No matter which Maxxum autofocus lens you own now or plan on buying in the future, you attach it by simply matching the red dot on the lens to the red dot on the lens mount. Put it in and turn it until it locks. Like I said, it really is easy. Right, Jim?
Yeah, Joanne, you know, as a matter of fact, we've just done the hardest things you'll ever have to do with your Maxxum. Now, to be ready to take pictures, all you need now is film, and here you have several choices. Film with color in the name is for color prints. The word chrome means that the film is for slides that you show with a projector. Now, the higher the ISO number, the faster the film. Slower films give more overall picture quality. Faster films are more sensitive to light, so you'll use them for shooting in lower lighting conditions without flash.
Loading the film is easy. Push this button and slide it down and drop in the film cartridge like so. Now, you want to pull the leader just past the red index. Align the holes onto the film, onto the sprocket teeth, and close the back. There we go. Now, since the camera is on, your Maxxum automatically does the rest, advancing the film to the first frame. The counter shows 1 only if the film has loaded properly. If you don't see the number 1, open the back and try again. Then it reads the ISO off the film cartridge and sets it automatically. All you have to do is take beautiful auto-focused pictures. Okay, you ready, Jim?
All right.
Terrific.
Thank you.
The film will be automatically advanced after each picture you take.
Can't wait to see that one. But right now, you're ready to go out and take pictures, armed with these basic tips, though, on how to make your first pictures great pictures. First, hold your camera like this, the left hand supporting it, and your right index finger ready to take the picture. For vertical pictures, the left hand supports the lens, and use your right thumb to take the picture just like this. See that? These positions will help you get the sharpest pictures by helping eliminate any kind of camera shake.
When you look through the viewfinder, you'll see a small rectangle in the center, like a horizontal window. This is the autofocus zone. When you line your subject up in this window, you'll get a sharp picture. Your Maxxum likes to see a vertical high contrast line through the window like this or like this to assure the quickest and most accurate focusing. So make sure you have a nice straight line for your camera to focus on and you won't have any problems.
Now, when you press the shutter release button halfway down, you're going to see and hear that your picture will be in sharp focus, just like this. Hear that? The green light in the viewfinder and audio confirmation tells you that your picture will be sharp. And Maxxum won't take a picture unless it will be sharp. No out-of-focus shots here, folks. If your Maxxum doesn't confirm it's in focus by showing the green LED in the viewfinder, just make sure you have a contrasty vertical line through the autofocus zone. Then, when you press the shutter release button all the way down, you'll take your first Maxxum picture. Here we go, Joanne.
I knew he'd get back at me.
There it is.
Now, when you run out of film, your Maxxum will tell you, don't do this now, but when you are out of film, all you do is then press the R button right here and slide the switch to the left. And then you'll open up the camera, just like this. Take out the exposed film, and you're ready for a fresh one. In fact, since the camera is all loaded, you're ready to practice Maxxum photography, so go ahead. Go outside and try it. And when you come back, we'll talk about Maxxum flash photography.
Have some fun, and we'll see you a little bit later. Hey, that was easy, wasn't it? I'm sure you've noticed by now that you're learning more about your Maxxum the more you use it.
Up to this point, you've been shooting pictures outdoors with plenty of available light. Now, for indoor and evening shots, you'll often need to provide more light. The extra light a Maxxum flash gives you in a convenient unit that slips onto your camera. It's a flash with Maxxum technology, including an illuminator. So your autofocus works even in the dark.
Now, to power the flash, drop in fresh batteries according to the illustration inside. The 1800 flash will also accept the new lithium battery for long life and faster recycling. Then, switch the flash on. The red signal on the flash and in the viewfinder tells you the flash is charged. And after each flash picture, you'll get a confirmation that you got a good picture. Then, the lights tell you that you're ready for your next flash shot. Now, the focus confirmation works with flash just like it does without flash. The camera focuses, confirms focus with a green light, and it won't shoot unless it has good focus, the green light. Of course, the autofocus illuminator will come on to help the autofocus system. But even then, if the camera doesn't confirm focus, just lift your finger from the release, move the camera around a little until the autofocus zone sees a vertical line it can focus on, and then press again.
That's it. Now you know how to take flash photos the easy Maxxum way, and you know how truly easy Maxxum photography is. It took you only a minute to put batteries in the camera and to attach a lens and the strap. You've loaded film, and you took your first pictures with your new camera. Then you attached and used your Maxxum flash. Now you're ready to see what else you and your Maxxum can do. So go ahead, try it out some more, and then join us again to explore the many other special capabilities of Maxxum photography.
Hey, welcome back.
Now, by practicing, you should have a solid feel for what your Maxxum can do automatically. So now it's time to try the controls that give you special pictures with Maxxum ease, right, Jim?
Yeah, you know, as its name implies, the advanced Maxxum 7000 has more of these extra capabilities, and as we go along, we will mention which of these also apply to the standard Maxxum.
Until now, you've been using your Maxxum in its program mode. That means your Maxxum's built-in computer automatically has been adjusting both the size of your aperture, the lens opening, and your shutter speed, how long the lens stays open, so that you get the best picture in virtually any situation.
Now, when you want a special look to your picture, you can change the exposure. It's like Maxxum magic. One of the easiest tricks can be performed in the program mode. On the 5000, you use this button, the backlight control. On the 7000, you have the plus or minus override and an AE lock.
The backlight control on the standard Maxxum is used when there's a bright light behind your subject that can make your subject come out too dark. Hold in the button while you shoot. Now this will automatically add exposure to the picture and you'll get a good picture.
In the same situation with the Maxxum 7000, you have a choice. The plus or minus key lets you lighten or darken the picture. Hold it down and press the shutter keys up or down. The more you push in either direction, the greater the effect. You'll see how much change you are adding on the data panel. Plus makes it lighter, minus for darker. You also could use the AE lock. Walk up to your subject, let your camera take a close-up reading. Then press and hold the AE lock. Keep it pressed. Step back to recompose your shot, then shoot. You'll turn backlit subjects like this into nice pictures like this. Now for the tricks in other modes. The first is called manual program shift. Simply press on these keys. The higher the shutter speed shown on the data panel and in the viewfinder, the more you will freeze the action and reduce the area that is sharp in your picture to isolate your subject from the background or foreground. The other shutter speed key takes you in the other direction to get an intentional blur that shows motion and to increase the depth of field.
Another exposure mode on the 7000 is aperture priority. Now, here you select the aperture for the depth of field you want, and your Maxxum automatically selects the corresponding shutter speed that gives you the correct exposure.
Now, to enter the aperture priority mode, hold down the mode key and press either shutter key until the A appears. It's just as simple to switch to the shutter priority mode. Hold down the mode key and press either shutter key until you see an S. In shutter priority, you set the shutter speed to control how you want to capture the action, and Maxxum selects the right aperture. Now then there's one more exposure mode available on both standard and advanced Maxxums, manual exposure, so that you can be in complete control. On the 7000, the mode key gets you there.
And on the standard Maxxum, it's time to open the creative cover. With both the 5000 and 7000, you can set both the shutter speed and the aperture using your selector keys. You can use any number of combinations, and the indicators in the viewfinder will tell you when your choices will give correct exposure. You'll want to see both exposure pointers on. When only the top pointer is on, you have the camera set for too much exposure for a good picture. The bottom pointer tells you you have too little exposure, so you just push the shutter or aperture keys until both pointers are on, and then you have the correct exposure. Now you can adjust it for the effect you want. Intentionally underexpose for a dramatic effect, or intentionally overexpose for a bright, high-key look.
Here's another exposure trick that lets you take pictures like this one. You use the Maxxum manual mode setting called bulb, and this exposure mode will hold the shutter open, exposing the film, as long as you hold down the shutter release. Just push the shutter keys until the bulb indicator comes up. Select an appropriate aperture, and you're ready for a long bulb exposure. You'll want to put the camera on a tripod and use a remote cord to prevent blur from camera motion. The remaining exposure control on your camera is the ISO key for setting the speed of films that do not have the DX code that Maxxum can read. And also to intentionally lighten or darken the pictures on a roll when you want all the pictures to be slightly lighter or darker than they would be with normal exposure. Just raise the numbers to darken the pictures and lower the numbers to lighten them. Remember to set it back to normal to get the correct exposure.
And of course, you can also handle creative exposure situations with your Maxxum flash unit. First, there's fill flash to improve shots taken outdoors in daylight. Here, for instance, the subjects are in shadow. And here, the difference that fill flash makes. Fill flash can be used in several modes. Now, when you're in the program mode, it's completely automatic. Maxxum selects the correct amount of flash and the correct aperture and shutter speed. In aperture priority, with the Maxxum 7000, press the AE lock when you're in low lighting conditions, and the camera shutter speed will compensate for the difference in lighting. You mix flash with existing light for an exciting look.
And both Maxxums offer manual exposure mode flash, the most control over subject exposure. In manual mode, you set aperture and shutter speed, and Maxxum automatically controls the flash exposure. The chart on the back of the flash will outline the range you can use for each lens opening. Just use it to make sure that your subject is within the flash range for the aperture you select. Like everything else about Maxxum, it's a snap.
Just like how easy it is to return either Maxxum to the basic automatic settings. Now on the 7000, you press the program reset button. On the 5000, you close the creative cover. Everything goes back to the basic program settings, except any changes you've made to the ISO setting. That'll stay until you reset it or you reload more film.
You know what, Joanne? That covers Maxxum's exposures
right.
modes. And we got program, program shift, aperture priority, shutter priority.
Backlight compensation, plus or minus override, and the AE lock. It's the kind of versatility that Maxxum is all about, not just in exposure control, but also how you choose to focus in on your subject.
That's right. We've been auto-focusing everything, haven't we? You know, using the focus frame in the viewfinder centered on the subject. But how about the times when you don't want your subject right in the middle of the frame? All you do is focus on your subject normally and hold down the shutter release halfway. You'll get focus confirmation with the green light. Then put the subject anywhere you want in the picture and shoot. And you always have the choice to focus manually. Just flip the switch. Use the viewfinder indications by turning the lens in the direction of the arrows in the viewfinder until you see the green focus signal, or use the acute matte focusing screen for sharp focus in the most challenging situations, or when the autofocus system is having a tough time seeing the subject. This could happen in low light situations or when there's no contrasting line for the focus system to see.
Okay, now you're ready for the challenges, don't you think, Jim?
I think it's time.
Okay, you've come a long way since this program began, and there's even more to your Maxxum, all just as easy to master.
For example, the advanced Maxxum 7000 has 3 drive options: single frame, continuous advance, and a self-timer. Now, single frame, as you'd expect, means one picture each time you press the shutter release. By pressing the drive and using the shutter key to switch to the C, you can use continuous advance, which is like the 5000's drive. It keeps shooting as long as you hold the shutter button down. The advanced Maxxum will shoot up to 2 pictures per second. The standard Maxxum shoots up to 1.5 pictures each second.
Both cameras have a built-in self-timer, so you can be in the picture if you like. On the 7000, like Jim's, you press the drive key and one of the shutter keys to shift to ST. And on the 5000, you get to the ST button under the creative cover. Then set your camera on a tripod or another steady surface. Compose the picture. Check focus by pressing partway down on the shutter release to get the confirmation. Now, when you're ready, take the eyepiece cap that's on your strap and slip it on here to keep light from entering the eyepiece and affecting exposure when your head isn't there. I bet you were wondering what it was for. Well, now you know. Now push the shutter release and you have a 10-second countdown to get into the shot, and that should be plenty of time.
You know, we've covered a lot here, Joanne, but
Sure
then there's
have.
a lot to the Maxxum. In fact, there's a lot to the Maxxum system, and that's what the last section of this program will be about. But right now, you're ready to master Maxxum, ready to enjoy the ease and creative power that is uniquely Maxxum. Getting to be great at it all is like how you get to Carnegie Hall. It's
Practice.
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 That's right. Again.
Well, we hope you're getting your Maxxum camera down pat. You've got some great photos by now. Regular outdoor shots without flash and with flash, indoor shots with and without flash.
Plus selective focus, exposure variations, motion and depth of field variations.
All with Maxxum Ease and Maxxum Automation. Now, let's expand into the full range of Maxxum accessories.
Here it is, the largest and most complete autofocus photographic system available today, all with Minolta quality. As you get ready for more and more challenges, it's all here for you, including motor drives, filters, program backs, and light meters used by the top professionals, all part of the Maxxum system.
You'll probably want to concentrate next on your Maxxum lenses. And what a choice! More autofocus lenses than you can find with any system anywhere. And each Maxxum autofocus lens is designed expressly for use with your Maxxum camera. They're designed and manufactured by Minolta to deliver the sharp, clear image that is the result of almost 60 years of Minolta leadership in camera optics.
Maxxum lenses are the road to an even wider variety of picture possibilities than is available with the controls on your Maxxum camera. Using different lenses, you can direct your viewer to see just what you want them to see, a nice portrait of your children or a loved one, the broad expanses from your last trip, or the detail of a flower. Each different lens will give you a different perspective on your subject.
Now let's take a look at how a simple lens change will dramatically alter your picture. The normal lens, which probably came with your Maxxum, will give you roughly the same view of a subject that you would get with your own eye. That's why it's called normal. But sometimes you want to show more or less than the eye would normally see. Then it's time to change lenses.
You can use Maxxum wide-angle lenses from 16 millimeters focal length to 35 millimeters to show more of a subject than the normal lens. Push the lens release button, twist off the normal lens, and then with the new lens, match red dot to red dot, put it in, and turn until it locks. Or you can zoom to a shorter focal length with your Maxxum zoom. Now you'll see a wider view of your subject, and the effect is more pronounced with the shorter lenses, lower focal length numbers. You will see that in addition to seeing a wider view of your subject, you'll notice an exaggeration of the foreground relative to the background. This is the alteration of perspective we mentioned, and you can use this to emphasize a subject with its relative size, but still include the background to establish the environment in which your subject exists. And it's all under your control. Just change the lens or zoom out to show more in the picture and emphasize the foreground relative to the background.
For a different way to show a subject, take off the wide angle and slip on a telephoto lens. These are Maxxum lenses with a focal length longer than 50 millimeters, or zoom to the teleposition. Now the opposite of the wide angle effect happens. You come closer to your subject without taking a step, and the background becomes more pronounced. And like the wide angles, the farther the focal length is from the normal 50 millimeters, the more pronounced the effect. Long telelenses are useful for bringing distant subjects closer, and the shorter telelenses make nice portraits because they give the most pleasing perspective for these pictures.
Another interesting way to look at your subject is to take a close-up look with a macro lens. A simple twist of the wrist will put on a Maxxum macro, or switches a Maxxum zoom to the macro range. Now, instead of bringing your subject closer to you, you get closer to your subject. And the closer you get, the larger your subject will be in the picture. And with the Maxxum macro, you can get close enough to reproduce an image on the film the same size as the actual object. Now, this is called life-size or one-to-one, and you still use the autofocus system. When you are using the macro range on a zoom lens, you will focus using the zoom ring and the focus indicators in the finder, or the acute matte focusing screen.
Your Maxxum camera works with your Maxxum lenses to select the correct exposure. It uses Maxxum Automatic Multi-Program Selection, AMPS for short. Now what this means is that your Maxxum automatically selects its exposure programs according to the type of Maxxum lens you're using. When you're using a standard lens, Maxxum selects a shutter speed and aperture combination that gives good results without having to worry about camera shake. With a wide-angle lens, an exposure is selected that emphasizes depth of field. With a telephoto lens, higher shutter speeds are emphasized to reduce camera shake and subject blur. And when you use a Maxxum zoom lens, AMPS automatically changes the program selections as you zoom from wide angle to telephoto and back. And of course, the image stays Maxxum sharp throughout the zoom range, so lenses will give you many different ways to look at your subject. And as you can see, there are many more Maxxum accessories to add to your fun with photography. Of course, we've talked about the Maxxum flash units you can use. There are also wireless controllers to control your Maxxum from up to 300 feet away, remote cords for shorter distances, interchangeable focusing screens to help you compose pictures in different ways, extra battery holders for alternate ways to power your Maxxum,
And several program backs and data backs to record information on the film as you take pictures and even control the camera for unattended photography, plus various filters to give you creative effects in black and white and color photography. You know, one of the most interesting is the polarizing filter. This will deepen and intensify colors and see-through glare for interesting effects. Your Maxxum will work best with one of the new circular polarizers, so the autofocus system will work correctly.
Another interesting accessory marketed by Minolta is the Koken Creative Filter System. Now, this innovative system slips onto the lens of your Maxxum and allows literally hundreds of colorful and dramatic variations to your photographs. And it's just as easy to use as the Maxxum. Just screw on the creative filter holder, slip the filter for the effect you want into the holder, and shoot. And get beautiful and sometimes startling results.
Well, is this a comprehensive autofocus camera system or what, Joanne?
You know, it really is, Jim.
You know, just look at all of the fun things you've learned to do with your Maxxum. The easiest photography possible. Just load and shoot. Nothing to worry about or set, but all of the creativity of the world's most advanced SLR camera is right there at your fingertips. Plus the most complete system of autofocus lenses and accessories available in the world.
And you've learned how easy it is to take a wide variety of different pictures using the controls and accessories for your Maxxum. You know that your instruction book is a good, handy source of information, and your photo dealer can help you too. But most of all, you've learned that, like the old saying goes, practice makes perfect. So from me, Joanne Ritchie.
And me, Jim Caldwell. And from the mind of Minolta, good luck and good shooting.